Once upon a time, there was a young man who worked at a factory. His mentor, an old technician, taught him, talk less, do more, and never stop developing your skills in every aspect of the factory's operations. 10 years later, the old man retired and the young man became a technician himself. He continued to do his work with the same dedication and diligence as he was taught. One day, he visited his mentor. The old man saw that he seemed unhappy and asked, "What's troubling you?" The young man sighed and poured his heart out. "I have been following your instructions exactly, all these years. No matter what I work on, I keep quiet and focus on the job. I know I have done good work at the factory, and I have learned all the skills that can be learned there. What I don't understand is, the guys who don't have my experience or capabilities have all been promoted, while I am still making as little as I did before, when I was your apprentice." The old man asked, "Are you positive that you have become indispensable to the factory?" The young man nodded. "Yes." The old man paced back and forth, thinking. After a while, he turned to the young man. "Take a day off. Use whatever reason you like. It's time for you to give yourself a break." The young man was surprised by this advice, but the more he thought about it, the more it made sense. He thanked his teacher and quickly went to submit his time off request. When he returned to work after his day off, the manager called him into the office. The manager explained, "Things did not go well while you were gone. Others encountered many problems, the kind you usually handle, and they had no idea how to solve them." Realizing his importance, the manager decided to promote him to the position of senior technician to thank him and encourage him to keep up the good work. The young man was grateful for his mentor's wisdom. Surely, he thought, this is the secret to success. From that point on, whenever the young man felt like he deserved more than what he was getting, he would take a day off, and every time when he returned, the situation would improve to his satisfaction. This pattern continued for months. One day, the young man found that he was blocked from entering the factory. Much to his shock, he discovered that his employment was terminated. He couldn't believe it. Not knowing what else to do, he went back to see his mentor, hoping to figure out how things had gone so wrong. "Why did I lose my job?" he asked, his voice filled with wounded pride. "Did I not do everything you instructed?" The old man shook his head sadly. "Actually, you didn't. Because you only heard half the lesson." The young man stared in confusion. The old man continued, "You understood that no one pays attention to a light bulb that's always on. It's only when it goes off that people suddenly take notice and realize they've been taking it for granted." The young man nodded slowly. "Yes, that's exactly what I learned." The mentor sighed. "But you were so eager to apply this understanding that you left before hearing the second half." The young man's heart sank. Second half? It began to dawn on him that perhaps he had made a big mistake. "What was the second half?" he asked, his voice trembling. The mentor spoke slowly, making sure the young man absorbed every word. "The second half, more important than the first, is this. If a light bulb goes off too frequently, sooner or later it will be replaced with one that's more reliable." The young man's eyes widened in realization. Who wants a light bulb that no one can count on to provide illumination? The mentor continued, "You see, in life, in your life, do you have friends and family members you take for granted? They're always there for you. But what happens if one day they're no longer there? Don't wait for that day to suddenly realize how important they are. Give thanks today for the good fortune of having them in your life." The young man nodded, his eyes glistening with unshed tears. "And one more thing," the mentor added gently. "Don't let yourself be taken for granted. But at the same time, do your work. Don't stop everything you do just because things don't go the way you want them to. Find the balance in life, and life will reward you by giving you that balance back.